Hey everyone, welcome to the No Guts No Galaxy podcast number 188. We are your hosts, Daeron and Phil. Today is Wednesday, December 4th, 2019. And
Support for
welcome.
this support for this podcast is brought to you by you, our viewers, our patrons, our Twitch subs, our Twitch viewers. Would you like to support the podcast? Maybe you're listening for the first time. Become one of our Twitch subs and or patrons today. More information down below in the description. And of course, head over to patreon.com/NoGutsNoGalaxy. How are you?
Well, you were raring to go. I added
I
that
was.
welcome on, man, and you know anyway. We had a little disruption. We were ready to go like
Sorry.
10, 15 minutes ago.
Dude, like, I just went live and almost all of a sudden I heard, my wife, Philip, I'm like, what's up? And she's like, the power company's here. They're here to install, the round. It's basically all it is your electricity usage, like the anyways,
meter.
the meter. They were putting a new one that's on, I guess wireless, so they can just, I don't know how. Anyways, whatever.
Gotcha.
And so she's like, oh, it'll be 5 minutes. I'm like, I just went live with the what? And she was
Dude,
like,
what would have happened if we were like halfway through the podcast?
I know. That's why I would have told my wife, well, go tell her to come back in like 2 hours. I mean, we're doing important stuff here. All right.
Seriously important.
Seriously.
Stuff. Come on.
Like, do we have a lot to talk about? But
I know.
before we get going, it was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I know,
happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know I said this on the stream when I came back, but I'm going to get a little sappy on you guys.
Go for it.
I'd like to say I'm thankful for the opportunity you guys that are listening and are watching have given Daeron and I on creating content for you guys, podcasts, comic strips, YouTube videos, Twitch streams, and so forth and so on, and making really a dream job come true. So thank you. That's what I'm grateful for. And that, to this continuing, and I just want to say thank you guys for providing that opportunity and enjoying the content. And, and sappy stuff. No.
Well, no, I want my opportunity. I agree. Number one, I totally agree. We just had our 8-year anniversary. When you step back and look at it all, it's amazing that we've been able to be a part of the BattleTech Mechwarrior universe for this long and getting paid for it and making a living. I'm super thankful, obviously, to all of you guys out there, our listeners, our viewers, and community members and friends and family. That's, you guys have, again, it's really been 10 years that we've been hanging out with the community. And a lot of you have become friends and family. And so we totally appreciate you guys and are thankful for you. And just like we tweeted out on Thanksgiving as well, we are thankful for Piranha Games, for Harebrained Schemes and Catalyst Game Labs for bringing about, again, like we mentioned, another golden age of BattleTech and Mechwarrior. We're very fortunate and lucky. I agree with you 100%, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Thanksgiving happened. I had a little bit of a trip, which was horribly timed, or I should say Thanksgiving wasn't horribly timed, but the launch of, is it a demo?
Well,
it's a beta.
The beta demo.
It's the beta demo. What are we calling it nowadays? Isn't this like, we'll just do,
it's just
quotation
a big
marks.
Tease is what it is. It's
demo.
called a big tease.
Beta. Demo beta. Okay.
Here's what I keep hearing over and over again. I love this, but I want more. Some variation of that. And that was my feeling too.
I've also heard, I want this. I wish MWO is this. Yeah. I've heard that a lot.
But you know what? We're talking about Mechwarrior 5 right now.
We are.
Let's wait till we get to Mechwarrior 5.
I was just saying it was horribly timed.
It was poorly timed.
It went live on Wednesday and then Tuesday last week, and then I had to leave Thursday at like 4:30 in the morning, or I'd woke up at 4:30 in the morning. And I told you yesterday, I had a hard time sleeping. I haven't had that feeling where you go to bed giddy about a game
since you were a kid.
Well, since MWO, like since 2009 and those trailers and release stuff. Like I went to bed thinking, holy crap, my wheels were spinning. And what sucked was I knew I wasn't going to be able to play it until at least Sunday. if not Monday, depending when we get back. And so like here I am laying in bed right after the beta demo.
That is pretty brutal, man.
And then, you know, I'm like, great, now everyone's going to be playing and streaming and, you know, and then I get back and there are people like, yeah, I've got like 37 hours into it already. And I'm like, and here I am just, you know.
Damn holidays. But how was your holiday? Did you get a lot of turkey and a lot of food?
I was pretty moderate this year. I did a good job.
Healthy people drive me crazy.
I had to run. So I had a 14-mile run on Saturday because it was actually supposed to be Sunday, but I didn't want to run after driving 8.5 hours. I didn't want to run 14 miles because that would suck. And so I ran it on Saturday, and it was like 39 degrees, 35 degrees. So it was pretty good. But yeah, no, I did well though. I will say I have a weakness for, sugar cookies and apple pie. I can't literally can't help myself.
Yeah. Is it like Pringles?
Dude,
can't stop at one.
Sugar cookies are just so good. Like and no frosting. I don't need any frosting. Don't need anything on it. Just plain sugar cookies.
So I don't know if this, you know, you're whatever. You're younger than I am.
You're about to say young. You're about to say young. Just go and say it. I want to hear the words.
Well, yeah, you're younger than I am. I'm not going to say young.
Than you are. Oh, okay.
But my tastes have been changing over the last few years. Part of getting older, I'm sure. But like things that are super sweet, man, like even candies that I've always loved, like Halloween comes and my daughter gets all this candy and during the holidays, obviously there's a lot of sweets. I'm just getting turned off more and more by, you know, things that are overtly sweet. I like the subtle things. So what you're saying, like the sugar cookies without the frosting, I totally agree. I just like the milder stuff. But anyway.
Well, are you intaking less sugar in general?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. Has that been a concerted effort like throughout the years recently? Like, hey, we need
it hasn't been an effort at all. It's just been I think my taste buds have been changing, or my tastes have been changing.
Or has it been your wife's and you just didn't notice it?
No. No, and it's same thing's happening to her. I'm absolutely sure it has something to do with just, you know, getting a little older and.
Well, yes and no, but I mean, I've noticed like first of all, if you pay any attention to like the contents of your food and, you know,
well, we've always kind of done that, you know, we're kind of hippy dippy. So
I know, but
do pay attention to that.
Oh, I'm just saying just in general, like, fat-free yogurt, but then you look and it's got 20 grams of sugar in a serving and your daily average for a grown man is supposed to be around 40. And you've just eaten this little thing of yogurt that has 20 in it. So I think awareness for me has it's drastically changed everything. Now, that doesn't say I don't eat sugar, because I do. But it's just the fact of...
like, gummy bears? Are those sugar-free?
No.
That's right. You don't get the sugar-free one.
No. Have you ever read the comments section? It's fantastic. It's like a subculture. I just finished that 5-pound bag that I got like... 8 months ago. So I don't know, like so we get Marie Callender's Dutch apple bake and it's got this this basically cinnamon crumble that you put on top. But the problem is now that I've cut back a lot on sugar, it's too sweet. You have to cut it. You have to have ice cream. But I would actually prefer, we had 2 apple pies. We had one with a regular like lattice work of you know, crust on top. Dough. And it had a little bit of sugar.
Oh, dude, the crumbly one's way better.
Well, it is, but I can't eat it as much anymore.
No, I know, of course.
I'd rather have the thatch work on the pie, the lattice of pie crust.
I love how you're like, and you have to have ice cream. Now, do you? Which I agree, but do you heat the pie and then add some ice cream? Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the holidays are brutal for me because
what kind of savage doesn't warm up their apple pie?
I know, right? I have always loved food. Well, I could end that sentence there, but I've always loved food during the holidays. I love Thanksgiving and I love Christmas, the dinners, and I love traditional. You know, I don't like getting too crazy or experimental or whatever. Thankfully, my wife is an amazing cook and made a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner, and then all the leftovers. So yeah, anyway, and had some family here. We had a great holiday.
I asked you this. Are you a turkey or ham?
Turkey for Thanksgiving, absolutely. Not that I wouldn't mind a little ham on the side, but if there's no turkey, I'm upset. Christmas, it can be a Christmas ham. We did try Christmas goose last year. Meh. So I think Christmas will probably have a ham or maybe prime rib, something like that. I don't know what we're gonna do, but yeah.
Who started the turkey thing? When did that start? What year was that? Because
when the Pilgrims and the Indians had their first Thanksgiving dinner together.
Yeah, I don't think
no, I know. Who the fuck knows? Probably the turkey industry. I think
it was in the
big turkey
40s, 50s. I think. I don't know. Like chicken used to not be a big mainstay of like diet in America. Right. That wasn't a thing until like I think 60s, maybe 70s. So that's weird, but it is what it is. Totally sidetracked, but yeah, sugar cookies and apple pie, and yes, apple pie.
What about pumpkin pie?
It's it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Certainly better than key lime, but anyway.
I'm not a key lime like.
Well, of course not. It tastes like shit.
Some people really like it. I don't know.
No, my wife loves it. And yeah, I'm just not down with.
It's like pecan pie. It's good.
I can do pecan.
That's sickly sweet, by the way.
Yeah, I can do a little pecan.
It's all right. It's just, you know what it is, and someone's gonna be like listening. They're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you don't like freaking pumpkin pie, Phil." And I'm like, "That's fine because that means there's more for you and more apple pie for me."
Hell
so back off if I don't.
It's a win-win situation, people.
Right? Like. It's always funny how it's always like it's all or nothing. You're either with us, you're with the cookie dough, you're not with the cookie dough. Come on, like, can't we?
Guys, I've tried to like key lime so many times over my lifetime. I don't know what it is, but I put that in my mouth and my mouth goes no. And so I don't know what it is. I don't
exactly. Someone else can have my piece. I'm a generous person.
I'm just sacrificing the enjoyment of key lime for my entire lifetime. So think about how many people get to have key lime because I didn't need it.
I'll raise my mug to that one. So cheers, Daeron, for being generous. I applaud your generosity, sir.
Coffee.
Are you in your coffee? I've never asked you. What do you prefer? I know you used to drink black coffee, but I mean,
well, when I was very young, a teenager, when I first started working for my dad in the butcher shop, I was
indoctrinated,
trained or indoctrinated with black coffee, and I was, you've heard me talk about it. Yeah, it was. But now these days, I'm pretty, foofy as far as my coffee.
Creamer, sugar,
half and half.
Half and half.
I can't even do milk. It's got to be half and half at least.
There's a difference. There's definitely.
There's totally a difference. It's like milk is like watered down half and half.
Yeah.
And sugar. So I do half and half in sugar. However, that being said, I can drink espresso straight up. I can drink black coffee straight up. I'm just saying, if I'm going to make something, I tend to put half and half and sugar in.
I've got milk in mine right now, but I definitely would prefer. Actually,
no Starbucks here. I don't get Starbucks ever.
No, I don't. That's
being in the Pacific Northwest in Washington. I guess that's a surprise, but there's so much good coffee up here. And coffee roasters all around. Like Starbucks, meh. That's like the only time I do Starbucks is if I'm going to the airport or I'm on the road and I have to get a quick coffee or whatever.
And you have to because there's no other option, right?
Yes.
I'm there. Yeah. So, yeah, man. I'm in agreement. I don't know. So last time we were doing the podcast, a little bit of an update on our end. We got our house washed, and they just came and painted the accents. So we got that done. I start the cabinet painting after this weekend because we're making a trip to my mother's to do sort of a Thanksgiving thing because we weren't able to hang out.
Right.
And it's one of those where like we drive up to Ohio because of her grandparents, and we're going to do that until we can't any longer. So
of course
there's that. So I gotta
take advantage of the family time while you can.
And as sappy as it is, I didn't grow up really with grandparents in my life, so it's been nice.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is what This is what it's like. I don't know. It's I know that may
Good for you,
sound
man.
weird, but
Nope.
yeah, it's nice having, some people that care for you. But yeah,
Absolutely.
man, we've got a lot to talk about, obviously, with mech stuff. So I feel like that's enough about us.
Should we jump right into it this week?
Yeah, I mean, what do you want to cover first? Do you want that top part, or do you
Yeah,
want to
let's
just
let's
okay
go. Let's jump right
by
in
the
with
numbers?
MWO.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do paint by numbers. So MWO, obviously, there's first of all, there's still quite a lot of people streaming it. Star Wolf and Nutty Rat and Violent Blue, and
Sure.
there's still a nice contingent of people over there playing MWO. I see people going back and forth between. Again, this is, I brought this up previously. I love it. I'm seeing people going back and forth between MWO, Mechwarrior 5 beta, and BattleTech,
Well,
and
people have asked me, what's going to happen to MWO, my statement was, one, well, I'm not I can't see the future.
not a fortune teller.
But two, there are people that don't enjoy PvE at all, that won't play Mech 5 unless
Absolutely.
it gets like a mod, as far as like some PvP mod or something like that. So makes total sense that they're going to stick to MWO. So I'm
a huge fan of all of it. I want, it all supports each other. Like when I play Mechwarrior 5, I get excited about BattleTech. I've been playing BattleTech the last since Heavy Metal came out. I've been playing it. And they all bleed into each other, and then when I'm playing BattleTech, I start getting the desire to play first person. I jump into the Mechwarrior 5 demo, and then I can't wait, obviously, till Mechwarrior 5 has all those other aspects to the campaign and the storyline and so forth. But anyway, with Mechwarrior Online, we got the Cyber Week camo pattern sale, which ends tomorrow, December 5th. So if you want to get some of those patterns, jump in there and get them now. And also there's some mechs available for C-bills. Are these the reward mechs for the pre-order Mechwarrior 5?
It's one of
I
think yes, it
so
is.
It's a Catapult C2, it's a Warhammer 9D, it's a Marauder 9M, and the King Crab 001. Those are available for C-bills in game now. And I mean that's pretty much it. We I think we'll bring back, obviously, the Masters Challenge as soon as it fits into our schedule. Obviously, we're pretty focused right now on Mechwarrior 5, but we were having a blast doing the Masters Challenge. So as soon as we can bring that back into our schedule, we will. But yeah, that's about it for Mechwarrior Online today.
Maybe it'll take a different form.
Maybe it will. Who knows? I'm not, obviously putting anything in cement here or writing a contract in blood, but we're very aware of people enjoying that, and we'll see how we can fit it back in.
All right, so Mechwarrior 5, demo, beta, whatever. Let's just call it the demo.
Let's just call it the demo.
The demo. I think that's appropriate because
Here's why I think we should call it the demo, not the beta. The beta, to me, a beta would be more inclusive of other features. This is literally 5 pre-made missions that you drop over and over again. You can choose any mechs and loadouts and so forth. So to me, it's more of a demo. If it was a beta, we'd be seeing some of the campaign and the ability to run your unit and so forth. So let's call it a demo.
Okay.
But,
so that came out on that came out on the 26th. We also had in this order the Origin series that's been written by Randall Bills. Installations 5 out of 8 are out. I've seen a few people switch those over to like PDF too, because I know people were asking about that. So there's that.
I'm super stoked on this. Again, it's just the whole all-encompassing aspect of right now. Like I said earlier, we're in another golden age of BattleTech and Mechwarrior. I mean, we've got video games coming out left and right. We've got the tabletop, which we'll get to with Catalyst, and we've got all this new fiction coming out. Pretty much, 15 years ago, I would never have thought this would be possible, having this much BattleTech Mechwarrior content coming out. So it's cool to see more stories. Yeah,
10 years ago, we were in a very dark place.
Well, but yes, we were. So 10 plus years ago. Never would have thought this was happening, and so we've got new content coming out, new fiction, and thank you, Randall, for providing that. It's been awesome.
Yeah. All right, so the beta or demo comes out on the 26th. Pretty hyped. I mean, I think we had hit like 400 or 500 people were watching us at the time, and you had other streamers. Beardold Beef was up there, Haven. I mean, you name it. Everyone was pretty much streaming.
Yep.
it goes live. I mean, we didn't have any issues as far as installing it, except you had issues, which
just for, and that was not Mechwarrior 5. That was the Epic Game Store launcher.
So what was the issue there?
What do I want to call it? Like registry or something? I had to basically purge my, I think
like CCleaner sort of registry.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I used
like uninstall Unreal and then run CCleaner, and then you were fine.
Yeah, I'll tell you the exact name of the program I use. Just one second.
Gotcha. And this is a common issue that I think you said. You said this is like, it wasn't something that was just exclusive to you. And the reason I bring this up is like, this could be valid to someone that's listening and has the exact same issue where you would try to launch the game, and it would give you this weird error, and you didn't know what that was.
It was trying to call a drive that no longer exists. I don't know if it ever existed.
You couldn't install it because it was saying like F drive.
This drive
and you didn't
doesn't
have
exist.
A drive.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
so it's called.
okay.
I used a program called Revo Uninstaller. It was free. I didn't have to pay anything for it, and you just basically, once you set it up, you went in there, you select the application, which in this case was Mechwarrior. No, I'm sorry, it was the Epic Games launcher, and purged everything. So it took whatever files are that I don't understand and registry whatever, purged everything, reinstalled it, worked fine. So it was like instant fix. It was totally easy. Once we got that sorted, then I was rolling in Mechwarrior 5.
Yeah. And so if you're listening and you're having the issues, again, just Google. That's probably your first thing. But
that's what I did.
You can, of course, ask people on Discord. And speaking of which, there is a Discord for Mech 5. At the moment, it's for the people that did the backing, the pre-beta backer. The guys who backed it a while ago. I do know they've talked about that's going to be opened up to everyone once the game goes live. So that'll just be like the official Discord.
Demo.
And so you
Discord,
can go there. Yeah, community pre-order. Thank you for that.
Yep.
So the Discord, and then there's a lot of people that also can help you out there if you haven't found any. All right, so the game goes live. Let's talk about it. I don't need. Okay, so there's so much to dissect.
I know.
Okay.
Where do you
start? Initial. You've got the front mercenaries. You got the king crab. Sort of like the background there. Pretty simplistic UI as far as like you've got single co-op options, stuff like that. Nothing crazy there. The UI was a big thing. Like very simple to the point. Co-op, you got your friends list. A single player co-op, it went into the scenarios that we were talking about. Scenarios give you basic information like difficulty stuff. Like it was to the point. There wasn't anything crazy. The first thing that popped up to my mind when I entered the mech bay, like when you selected the scenario, let's just say assassinate, and there was assassinate, defend, raid, demolish, and war zone. Each one was different. Out of those, the smallest map was Warzone, and there's a reason for that. It just pretty much it's how long can you last sort of thing.
Yep. Which like we have something survival. To say about that in a little bit.
We do. Okay, so you get into the mech bay. My first things were, oh my God, I love the Mechwarrior avatars. The images, they went with this 80s / cyberpunk.
It's totally 80s, right?
Cyberpunk look for the Mechwarriors, and then you can select the image for the Mechwarrior, and then like the voice for that as well. And the first thing that popped in my head was one that was only what I think it's like.
It was half of what's
10
in the game.
Well, no, even there's more than that. I saw Mark Nicholson. He made a mention of that in chat. He said there's more.
Yeah, he said there's double what's in there now.
And then on top of that, each one's unique as far as their voice, and then you hear stuff when they're in game as well. You'll hear them talk and say stuff. And the first thing that popped in my mind is, one, I love the aesthetics of it. Two, I love what the mod community is going to do with it.
Oh,
because
yeah.
You're going to be able to, like, it's infinite, like it's literally infinite. So that's really cool. Another thing I picked up instantly was the little mech, your Aztecs. For those that don't know, it's not mechanics. They're called mech techs, are called Aztecs in BattleTech lore. And so your Aztec dudes are walking around. Now it's so simple. I mean, it's on a flat plane, so you're looking at it directly, so you don't get as much depth with it. So maybe that's something that could be altered later on. But like your little dudes are walking across, and it's so simple. There's not a whole lot to it. That's all they're doing. They're just walking. But to me, I got a total XCOM vibe from it when you're in that perspective. I like that. So it's cool. So I like that.
Yeah, the little people walking around. Yeah. In fact, like, and I think because my daughter was, when I was playing it, she was standing off to my side and she saw the little people. And for the first time, she actually understood the perspective of how big these mechs are. You know, in her mind, they're human-shaped mechs or whatever. So she saw them as being a lot smaller. And so that gave her a sense of scale. Now, obviously, for those of us that have been around forever, we know the scale. But it'll be good for people that aren't maybe familiar completely. And obviously, you play the game, you'll see it too. But
it's funny because in chat, someone said the Mechwarrior artwork is still the thing I least like about the demo. For some reason, I hate the pilot artwork. And like, I get that to some extent.
Everything's subjective, man.
It's like, for instance, the one picture of the big old neuro helmet that's like on the shoulders that looks just totally ridiculous. Man. That is literally like pulled from the TROs and artwork. And for me though, I appreciate it because you're taking something, Bullhead, you're taking something that's a part of the lore, whether you like it or not, and you're not trying to completely push it aside. You're just bringing a new perspective. And sometimes Daeron loves ugly mechs, all right? So I'm sure he likes an ugly neuro helmet.
The fuck you calling the Warhammer ugly for?
I didn't say the Warhammer, sir. Why you gotta assume?
No, I do love functional looking mechs.
But here's the difference. I guess the argument could be made of like, if you're looking at it from BattleTech by HBS and how they redid what Mechwarriors look like as far as like their artwork and stuff, it is different. And that's not a bad thing per se. I just feel like looking at the Mech 5 Mechwarrior artwork, it's a homage to the 80s and again, sort of cyberpunk look. And I dig it. And there were so many different shapes and stuff. And I think, if anything, it means variety, right? And so I think that's cool. So whoever did the artwork and whoever is going to do, and again, guarantee it, there's going to be thousands of Mechwarriors to choose from and voice packs. I can already tell you that's a modding person's dream.
Phil and I will be available. Yes.
Yes.
The thing is about that, again, you know, styles and artwork are obviously always going to be subjective, right? Number one, this just happens to be something that you and I appreciate and we like. I can understand whoever that was in chat that says they don't like it. You can't tell somebody.
Some of them are still ugly, but I appreciate what they've done.
But so here's the thing. Like, number one, don't take yourself too seriously. Like, have some fun with it. And I understand that that's what they were doing. I mean, it's two-part. They were having fun. They were, you know, doing something different and creative. And two, you know, stuff was pulled from lore. I mean, if you saw the stuff that there was back in the 80s, there was some pretty silly stuff. So they are paying homage to that, and I appreciate that. But I feel like it all stayed within the realm of sanity. Whereas, what was that game that came out way back in the day when Mechwarrior came out? MWO, the other one that we were...
Hawken?
No. The other Mechwarrior title that came out, the one, Tactics.
Oh, Tactics.
That was so far removed from the BattleTech Mechwarrior look and aesthetics and feel that I felt that crossed a line. So again, I think this is subjective. You and I appreciate it. We like the artwork. But I can understand how some people don't like that, the pilot artwork. Now, that being said, if you don't like the mech artwork in this, I don't know what to say about that. The mechs in this game look so beautiful. Number one, obviously they pulled them from MWO, but the damage models, and if you're, running it full and everything ultra or high, they just look beautiful. They absolutely look beautiful in the Unreal Engine. I'm super impressed with the aesthetics aspect.
Yeah. So that's the initial impressions of the Mech Lab. The other thing is, like, when you look at the UI, it's different than what we're used to with MWO, because with MWO, where things are placed and how they're placed compared to this is a departure per se. Like you've got two different screens for weapons specifically, and then your details of weapons and equipment. And I do wonder if that's redundant. Like I wonder if that could go away, right? Like why not just have it to where, but then the first thing that pops in my mind is new players coming in here and hopping in the mech lab. What are they seeing and what's their experience? And I feel like sometimes as BattleTech hardcore fans and veterans of the games, we take for granted the complexity.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Right. I mean, and that's the first thing that pops in my head. Like I understood the UI going in there. I understood the mech lab, understood the details. There was things that I felt like I wanted a little bit more information about. But as far as if you're coming into this game, if you're coming into the genre, someone, and I've seen multiple comments about the UI, the first thing I want to say is the amount of information that has to be shown in the mech lab is overbearing and can take away from the experience. And that is 100% true. And if you don't agree with that statement, I think you're
well, too bad. Look, dude, we've in MWO over the 8 years, I've seen so many people, even people that we were working with or wanted to work with on an official basis where they were getting compensation for their time, they would jump into the mech lab, and we had people say no. They walk away from it. They didn't want the opportunity. Basically,
we actually did have a few. Yeah,
they didn't want financial gain to play a game because the mech lab turned them off, and it was just brain overload. And so I get that. We all do take that for granted. You and I could have the most complex mech lab in the world, and we'd be fine with it because we've been around this franchise for decades. But new people coming in, they don't understand. So now, as far as the UI goes, and we're not talking about. I'm talking about
mech lab UI.
Yeah. So it's simplistic, but as soon as you learned it, boom, like it's super easy, it's super smooth. And people were using the term clunky. I think, what is that quote from? I don't think the word means what you think it means or whatever. I don't think clunky is a proper term. Clunky to me is something that doesn't feel smooth and doesn't function correctly. And to me, it was just simplistic, and I was fine with that. Everything worked. You click it, it works quick, fast, going around.
I think it's
everything.
Very simplistic when you look at it, and the usage, like the things that I was looking at, like one, you can click weapons and equipment, and it automatically goes to the slots too. I think there's two things: aesthetics and function over form, or form over function, or can you have a blend in those two? So the first thing that I noticed in the mech lab, though, after usage now of a few different streams and getting in there, though, is, again, you have the mech weapons, and then you switch over to details, and it still has the weapons, but it has all the slots as well. An experienced player doesn't care about that first screen. It only cares about the second screen.
Right.
Also, too, is like we all know, like there's no customization as far as like engines. There's no Indo or Pharaoh. Now, here's the kicker. There is Indo or Pharaoh. That's a critique. There's no way to distinguish if something has Indo or Pharaoh unless you look at you strip the mechs and look at the tonnage. So I'm wondering if that's going to be something that's in the full version that just wasn't in the beta. And it could be
that's
just
what
something.
I was just going to say is we have no idea what the release version is going to look like. It could be the same. It could be different. I do feel like, of course, they're using the beta to see some things that they could change and improve. Stuff that you just overlook, little things or whatever. I do feel like it's not perfect. I'm comfortable with it. I feel like it's totally functional. It's easy. It's whatever. But do I think it's perfect? No, I think there is room for improvement, and hopefully that'll happen.
Well, and so then you get into like the mech select screens and stuff, and we're so used to how MWO has it, right? Whereas like I can sort by chassis, so I can have all like the icons, or if I just want the detailed list, basically, I can sort by weight class, and then I can go back to select mech, and it remembers. And that was one thing that was sort of frustrating. I noticed when you'd go back to select a mech, it wouldn't remember where you were. So if I was just on the atlases, I would then have to click
Yep.
assaults, atlas, and then it would show.
That is a little so little annoyances, right?
Yeah. But I mean, the kicker about it is like, it, as an experienced player, it literally, I picked up on it like that. Like, so for me coming into it, and that's where I have to just sort of, it's function for me, but there's little things that I'm wondering, how old is this? And is there updates that we haven't seen? And that's something we don't know. Me and Daeron don't know, because they've been, just full tilt. We haven't been able to get any official response. So obviously we're only 6 days away. So I'm wondering, is the mech lab that we see in that going to be slightly different in the release? And so why would they do that? Well, one, for those that don't know, anytime you do something like this, what you're basically doing is you're making a build and pulling it out. So changes could have continued that build basically.
The build's
doesn't
branched
get updated
a while back.
Yes.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
I would assume there's stuff like that.
Evidence of that is, for example, when the demo launched, there was obviously a huge frame rate issue with the flamers.
Yep, that's fixed.
When the demo launched, that was already fixed in the release version. So, prior to the demo launching, the development builds branched off like that, because obviously they had to get the demo ready. But while they're getting the demo ready, they have to keep, developing the game. So
yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, like, I know one of the big harps when I was going through all of our YouTube comments, and I was replying to a lot of them. I'm not a designer.
Neither of us are designers.
But they went with that reason. I think sometimes people are so quick to jump on it, but it's like, there's so much information. It's so difficult to convey what needs to be displayed and why. And I feel like that's the crux of it. It's not like you're hopping in COD and you have to, okay, what's on this AR-15? Like, that's all you got to show. No, it's like, what kind of buffer spring, what kind of trigger, what kind of barrel. I mean, it's like, that's like the level of stuff. And I feel like that's what's really tough. But on the flip side, people are quick to also mention, well, MWO has more complexity to it. And, so there's that. So I guess my last impressions on the Mech Lab are, it functions for me, but we have to see what the final has, and are those alterations or adjustments for like information, like I said, some of the stuff. Now, the first thing I noticed when I got into the game, though, the first thing that popped in my head was, I wish this was an MWO. That was the first thing that popped in my head. Like, of course, aesthetically, the game looks sharp. The textures are sharp. Someone mentioned the textures, and I'm pretty sure they're 4K or higher. I mean, you can, even on buildings, like, you can go up to buildings. The game looks I love the biomes. I love the buildings, the buildings and textures, the plants, fauna, and flora, and the lighting. And by the way, you can change the lighting for those that don't know. You can actually do nighttime as well. Everything, the crater impacts of missiles when they miss and they hit the ground, like everything. And notice the Gauss rifles, the particle effects, the PPCs. The only thing I would say that was lackluster out of all of it, and I have a feeling it just needs to be adjusted, was the lasers. Some of them were very subdued, like the glows effect, and some of them, if you had higher settings or lower settings depending on it, it made the lasers a little bit harder to see. But other than that, the first thing that popped in my head was just like the clarity. It just didn't look jumbled. I don't know the right word. Like in MWO, the textures just don't blend well sometimes on the terrain and stuff. And
well, it's different engines, completely different engines.
And I think, and it's older. Yeah.
I think Unreal just is such a better place for Mechwarrior. So I'm going to give my basic general impression of the game. First playing it for this last week. My overall impression is, what we said earlier. It's a tease, and all it did really was make me get excited for the full release. As I mentioned in our streams, I think the foundation is absolutely solid, and that's really what this demo, I think, was meant to provide, was Just a little bit of the taste, and the foundation of it, which is the aesthetics and basically the look, the feel, the sound. And I think it was stellar in all those. It felt like a big, huge mech. You felt very stompy. You could feel the weight of the mech. Just stepping out of the dropship, walking around, walking through walls or buildings, stomping on tanks or whatever. The assaults would obviously walk through buildings easier as you downsize and you get to lights. Sometimes you can't even make it through a building. You tear off a side of it, whatever, and you stop. I love the feeling. It's like when you walk into water and it slows you down. I got that same feeling with the mechs when you walk into a building. So it's not just, I like that the physics aspect of it. I felt it was appropriate. Jump jets felt great. The look was brilliant. Again, not everything perfect, and there's room for improvement on plenty of things. But my overall impression was just the look, the feel, and the sounds were superb. BB Wolf did an amazing job at bitching Betty. There are some issues with that, and not her work, but the spamming of it. Target acquired, target. How do you fix that? I don't know, because you need, what are you going to skip some every once in a while? And then so I don't know how to fix that. But the weapons, most of the weapons were phenomenal as far as how they looked. Love PPCs. I'm having a great time with PPCs. Gauss, the burst fire auto cannons, so much just tasty stuff there. Like all I could think of, the first few days of playing is, my God, I want this game to be out now, because I want to jump into the campaign. I want everything I'm doing to matter. I want to basically be doing BattleTech, but in Mechwarrior, I was super impressed. Just overall, my initial impression was, it looks good, it feels good, and it sounds good. And I can't wait for more. And that both waiting for more, can't wait for more, is both the full game release I can't wait for. I'm going to lose my life into that game for a while. But also, in my mind, your mind, I know too, it just offers so many possibilities for modding. Like, if the foundation is solid, you can build up from that anything your mind, your imagination can think of. And so that's what it was to me. This demo has just been a huge teaser and making me super excited for what is to come.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair overall, like how I felt, which was and I mentioned this, the audio sounds good, the visual sounds good. Obviously, you don't have tactile, so what you're relying on is the audio and visuals to bring that sense of, like, for instance, scale, and that you feel like and the difference mobility-wise between an assault and a light are quite extreme as far as like maneuverability and so forth and so on. I was happy. I was impressed. There was things that I quickly picked up on. People were talking about AI. AI is a big deal, but it's a thin line. And like, for instance, each unit is a recruit or green, all the way to, I've only seen 8 or veteran. I don't think I've seen elite, and I don't know if there's ace above that. I don't know. All I know is, though, there's a big freaking difference between a veteran awesome 8Q shooting at you or a tank versus a green, because the 8Q is going to hit you with some PPCs. You're going to get hit with AC5s from distance too, which so it's just one of those where I was happily surprised. And the nice thing about it is like, because we haven't been on the inside, the last time I played was the demo that you guys did at MetCon, right? Like, that's what I played. And I think for me, I'm looking at it through the eyes of I'm looking at it through the eyes of as a modder. That's what I'm looking at. Like, as a player, yes, I'm going to play the campaign. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to play the hell out of it. You guys are going to watch it. You guys are going to enjoy. Some of you guys are going to be involved. I'm going to try to get you viewers involved, especially subs and stuff like that, throughout my campaign. But in my eyes, I'm also looking at it as and this is really powerful. And I feel like this statement needs to be said. I have a vision of what I feel BattleTech should look like. You have your opinion and your thoughts about what BattleTech should be like. And here's the cool thing about this all. We can do that to what we want, and you can do that to what you want. And that is great. And so the foundation, I feel, is solid. I freaking love the autocannons. If anything, we're going to take it a little bit further. Like we already have ideas about that. I told you guys we're going to be doing Mech Commander. It's happening. We've already been looking at stuff.
Obviously we're not the only ones. There's a huge Mechwarrior community out there. There's a huge modding community, super creative people in the Mechwarrior community, Battletech community. So obviously, from our perspective, we're going to do stuff. We're going to mod stuff, but there's so many people out there. That's why I'm so freaking excited about the potential of modding.
I think someone is going to do a super simulation mod where when you're in the cockpit, I have a feeling, I don't know if it's possible as far as like having a unique HUD per mech, but I have a feeling people are going to do stuff that makes a simulation like where you need a lot of skill. Like you need to know what's going on. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. I have a feeling that people are going to mod in infantry. I have a feeling that people are going to do aerospace. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, and I don't know if I've said this officially, I think someone is going to mod it to where you're driving around tanks or you're playing infantry or you're playing aerospace. We just don't know how open-ended.
We have heard that the Living Legends team is interested in looking into, moving to Mechwarrior 5.
Yeah, I've heard otherwise.
That's why I'm saying we've heard. So that's not confirmed. Yeah. But if not them, somebody else. And so, again, I think we've been waiting since early 2000s for an update and another platform for us to get creative with. Obviously, this is going to be providing all the tools for amazing things to happen, and they're going to happen. So we're going to be here and we're going to be playing them all, and we're going to be having fun with you guys, trying all this stuff. So I think to reiterate and kind of define what we're saying here, first impressions are super solid foundation. Are there issues? Sure. Are there things that could be changed? Sure. Are there whatever? Yes. But super solid foundation, which makes me totally look forward to the release of the game and totally look forward to the longevity of the game because of modding and DLC and everything else that can come and build on to this foundation of just a really solid, fun Mechwarrior game.
Finrer, Epic, as far as what his question is, for those that don't know, he says, does Epic Games have the same ability to mod as, say, Steam does? I think that's worded incorrectly. What you're actually asking is, can you do the same level of mods? The answer is yes. You actually don't need Epic as far as the mod.
Is he referring
system.
to Steam Workshop?
Well, he's referring to Steam Workshop where, like, let's say City Skylines, you want that special building. Well, you click subscribe, it automatically downloads. You go into the game. You then click the yes, I want this. Similar to what HPS just did with their game, where now you can go into that mods, you can say yes to that. That is not in Epic Games Store. Now, they have said that's what they want to add, but here's the kicker. You don't need that for what we're talking about. What we're talking about is there will be a fan created, like Nexus, how it is already. There will also be people that host stuff, and then, or I'm assuming someone's also going to make like a patch launcher, sort of like Rogue Tech, how they've created their own like installer and stuff like that. So the question though is, Mechwarrior 5 was designed around to have mods, so they're going to have folders. I'm assuming where you can drop stuff and it'll overwrite stuff. And
we're talking about a mod manager. That's what the Steam Workshop is. That's what somebody just pointed out. And every game that has mods, if they don't have it built into Steam, they have their own mod managers.
But yes, it doesn't have a built-in one on Epic Games Store. But that's literally not. Yes.
And Russ did say that that's something that they're working on.
Sure, but I mean, it could be 5 years. I mean, who knows? Like I know it's on their. It's on the roadmap.
But mod managers will exist, and it will be, look, if there's a will, there's a way, and it's just going to happen.
So was there any, like, I'm just trying to think of, like, for me, so what we tried doing gameplay wise was, like, we were trying to challenge ourselves. Like, you could always take all atlases if you wanted, or assaults, and you could just rush right through them, of course. Except for like Warzone, which you could see how long you can last and so forth. But it was interesting because there were some things that and this is outside of like initial impressions. This is more like with how the lack of customization, as far as like you can't do engine, right? And you don't have any quirks on the mechs, or like HPS, they're doing like the quirk slash roll sort of things. Indo and Pharaoh aren't selectable, but here's the kicker about that. And I was talking to my guys for modding purposes, which is we think that'll be just a no-brainer that you're going to be able to do that, just like BattleTech, where you weren't able to change the engines and now you are. And so I have a feeling that's what's modders are going to do right off the bat. Also, too, is you started running into where like lights would be severely underpowered comparatively, to like the mediums or heavy, or like you'd be very limited because you didn't have Indo to where you could save some tonnage, Indo or Pharaoh, because like you got to think Indo and Pharaoh would save a light, 5 tons, something like that. You know what I'm saying? That, which is a big deal to a light. Let's see. You didn't have BAP, you had AMS, but there was a few times like I went to go play the Cicada and I had half a ton and there was nothing I could do with it. Whereas like if I had that engine customization to some extent, I could have bumped it up to the next class of, engine, like by 0.5 tons or whatever. So that was one thing I did notice, which was the lack of customization in some cases sort of it prevented you from doing anything with some of those mechs. Now, as far as a lore head and as far as a campaign, it perfectly makes sense what they're trying to do, because what's the point, as Russ mentioned, what's the point of the JR7F compared, the JR7D if one has an upgrade and the other? Well, one's just clearly superior. So like, I get that. I just feel like there needs to be a few more options in there so that you don't have half a ton, or like, oh, well, these two mechs have the exact same hard points. What's the point of one versus the other? So I have a feeling that's going to all change too, as far as mods. And I'm going to play the campaign thoroughly stock first, just like BattleTech I did, and sort of see like what do I like and why do I like it. Also too is one thing that's different is Indo and Pharaoh, even though that is a option in the files, and again we're looking at like the editor, it's called like a mech def or something, I forget the exact name, so you can say like Hunchback 4G. There's probably a checkbox for those, but here's the kicker is they don't take up crits. So again, it sort of goes back to Mech 4 almost, where it wasn't about a crit system as per se. So anyways, mech def asset, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how things are played out, what people are liking. But here's, again, the foundation's all there. Like, because I have a feeling we're going to see a wide range of like what people enjoy. Some people want a very hardcore, almost like tabletop BattleTech experience. And then some people want all the way to the fully modded, do whatever you want, tier god weapons,
Yeah. I so fall in that first line. I love playing hardcore mode. I love it being difficult for me. I love not being able to just get the mechs I want with the loadouts that I want. I got to appreciate every little bit of salvage that I get. Like, man, as hardcore as possible with every little thing meaning something, salvaging that one weapon you've been hoping to get for your mech, or salvaging that, finally getting the salvage on that mech that you've wanted or whatever. Yep. That's how I like playing BattleTech. That's how I want to play my Mechwarrior.
Speaking of which, the weapons in the demo are all tier 1.
Tier 1s, man. We haven't even experienced tier 5.
Yeah, actually, so you can actually mod some files and get the tier 5s, and it's drastically better.
Yeah.
Yes, like it's probably going to be OP, but here's the kicker. It's a PvE game. You want that. Mm-hmm. You want the OP-ness.
You want to feel a little godly, right?
Oh, but here's the kicker. You could lose those weapons. You can lose those weapons. If it's damaged and blown off,
yeah, I know.
It's gone.
Dude,
so
I deal with that in BattleTech. I've got my AC 10++ or whatever, and I lose it, and I'm feeling the pain because I was so excited to get that. So yeah, I want to experience that again. I want to experience that in Mechwarrior.
The Corsair. We showed this off in yesterday's stream. I had a natural. He's one of my mod members.
Yep.
Team members, and he actually brought the Corsair in. I don't have it's in your files, everything's there. He just went in and basically enabled it, and it already had basically an animation, texture files, everything already done. I don't know why they didn't include it, because I know it's a part of the story. I think it's part of the story, But when they came out with the Corsair for MWO, they specifically said this is going to make an appearance in Mech 5. I remember they said that on the, the show floor. So like, it wasn't a spoiler. It's like, oh yeah, Corsair. Well, it's in there, so he brought it out. So there's going to be rarity to mechs. There's going to be rarity to
hero
items.
mechs are going to be super rare.
So I guess the what's interesting is we don't know if there's mech death destruction. We don't, I'm assuming no. I'm assuming a mech can be obliterated and you lose everything on it, but I'm assuming you're not going to lose the mech. But there's where the mods, I want it to where if you lose the mech, it's gone. It's destroyed. Like I'm okay with that.
Why are you assuming there's not going to be mech death?
Because it's it's really punishing. Even the BattleTech didn't do it. It's so punishing. Especially if you're a new player and you're coming in and you're starting off with like basic lance. I don't know if we have a lance. I'm assuming you start with a lance, maybe. You lose your mechs because you don't know and stuff like that. They added it later in the career mode and it makes sense. You give an option later. So the foundation is amazing. And I've been saying this, and I know there wasn't a mod AMA, but everything I saw and everything that, after all the AMAs they were talking about, which how many times did Russ say, well, that's going to probably be one of the first things that they mod in. Like he said that over and over and over again because it's true. So another thing I want to point out is the performance. I know there was weird cases here and there. The flamer was already fixed. It just wasn't in the demo. It's running so good on so many people's systems. Like you have an older system. I mean, it's still a decent
It's a decent system, but it's a 970, and I'm struggling with some other new games. Like for example, Red Dead Redemption. I had to play that at all low settings across the board. I had to play it low, otherwise it was clunky. And for me, I've been playing Mechwarrior when I'm not streaming Mechwarrior 5 and just playing it. I can play it at sorry, my camera. I can play it at high settings, and it is butter. Other than the known issues like the flamer or whatever. Which, by the way, the flamer, Russ told me was tanking 2080 Ti's. So
it was already fixed. Yeah.
So, but my system is mediocre, and it was running high settings, just beautifully. So. Yeah. I know some people are having issues. There's always going to be that kind of thing. It's a demo and things got to be fine-tuned or whatever. But I was super impressed. You remember running up to the release of the demo, I was kind of stressing because I didn't know if my machine was going to be able to handle it. And obviously we got to stream the damn thing, right? So I was worried, but man, it played so smooth on my machine. I was stoked.
Yeah, it's there. One thing I was noticing, I was trying to sort of work through this and we'll figure it out when the game comes, but there was a few graphic weird things. If you like turn down AA, like you got this, but I'm wondering if there's something, again, once the full thing comes out, we'll go through each file. We'll do a video on performance, what each thing does for you guys. I feel like that's really important. But the one thing that I noticed, which was just how good it looked. And the first thing again that pops in my mind was, man, God, can you imagine if MWO looked like this? And
I know. I mean, I kept hearing that over and over again.
Like
Port
in
MWO
my head,
to Unreal.
Yeah, so. Anyways, first impressions, foundation is solid. I 100% agree with you, Daeron. And I feel like that's something to remember. And AI, I feel like is I would say in this order, I would say AI to me is the most important, followed by UI. I think is probably my secondary because others, and then. Of course, like story and stuff, that's important. But I feel like the whole, you write your own sort of, it's just like BattleTech. You decide what you want to do, story. Right? You've got this they're starting at 3015 and it goes to 3049, but you sort of get to choose your path in between. And I feel like that's really cool. But AI, I feel like is an entire discussion that I really want to get the guys behind the scenes. And here's the kicker, guys. We've wanted to have devs on the podcast for the past few. We've been
talking to Russ, and basically the bottom line is he wasn't against us doing podcasts with the devs, but the devs are just way too busy.
Yeah. So as soon as the game launches, I should say as soon as they have time, which is probably going to be after the holidays.
Post holidays, yes.
We will sit down and talk because that's what I'm intrigued about too, is the ongoing discussion. Because as far as I know, it's going to be pretty much unlimited modding, like whatever as far as access to. And I say this because, and I don't want to deflect responsibility, because some people take, and anytime I say about modding, like, oh, shouldn't the devs do that? Yes, but the devs have their direction. The mod teams are going to have their direction. So for me, it's like, if anything, maybe let's just say something is hard coded or whatever. Well, unless it affects stability, can they unlock that? And it'd be great to be a part of that conversation, and like, hey, how does this work with AI? And well, why did you go this route? Or what are the thought processes on that? And how does this interact with your maps and tile sets and pathfinding and stuff like that? And really go in depth. And that's what I'm looking for. Again, I'm looking at it as a modder. That's what I'm like. We have a goal that we want to do. We have a project that we want to accomplish and create. And in my head, I've been thinking about this for I've been thinking about this project for over a year, and we're almost there. So that's how I'm looking at it. I'm not just looking at it just from well, did they do this exactly how I felt they should have, or the UI is this pretty, or like, I don't, like in my head, it's like, okay, well, can we make this work? All right. Then, after that, it's like, okay, well, let's polish it from there. That's another thing, UI in the game. The HUD. I'm interested to know why the parabolic, and for those that don't know, that's sort of the 3D effect they did with the HUD that makes it look like it was three-dimensional per se. Why did that change to what we currently have? But here's the kicker with that, Daeron. It may be a different UI when the game comes out. This may be old. I don't know. I don't think it is. I think there was reasons why they moved away from it, but we just don't know there was reasons. And it'd be great to hear, not to be like, oh, well, you should have done it this way, because it gives you, the modders, the information of maybe why to avoid that, or maybe how to circumvent or fix or better, stuff like that. I look at it as opportunities to understand what and why. And so,
well, and obviously we're going to address some of this stuff next week. This is going to be a day after release. So next Wednesday will be one day after release. We're going to see what changed, what didn't change, and we'll talk about those and what our feelings are.
I got a response.
Okay.
And this is a quote. He says, and this is a quote: No, the new HUD was an improvement in the eyes of the dev team. I guess it's a matter of taste, so I guess modders can make all the sorts of HUDs. New HUD shifted a bit to make a great play space for third person as well. And that was quoted by Russ on Discord.
Yep. And modders are going to mod the hell out of that.
It's like having it's like, here's your canvas and here's all the tools.
Yeah.
And as far as a foundation.
Why don't the developers do that? The question, like, well, if you're expecting the modders, why don't the developers do it? Dude, if you've played any game that has modding, that's the way it is. Like, I mean, Fallout 4, tons of mods. Well, and there's tons of mods in that I always think, why don't the developers do it? Why don't they put it into their game release? Because even huge developers don't. They let there's certain things they will do, and there's certain things that they're going to leave to the modding community, and that's not a big deal. I'm fine with that.
That statement right there actually answers a question, which is, why did they move away from parabolic HUD? Mm-hmm. And the answer was because of third person as well. Because it's that
you don't know
HUD,
what you don't know. The issues that they're looking at, the things that they're taking into account.
The current HUD is just like on a flat plane. It's not based on the mech cockpit. It's not based on this perceived neuro helmet. And so that when you switch to third person, it doesn't block anything. So again, it's not saying they can't do it. It's because, third person, you're then able to have all the same information.
Yeah.
And so for me, the standpoint would be, that's actually good to know. That means if you are going to do parabolic or some type of
you better think about
HUD,
that.
You need to have
switch or something different.
It has to switch, or the HUD will be slightly different when you switch. Or if you don't, maybe it's going to be covered. So that's design where I totally understand. That makes 100% sense now. So yeah, I like it.
And as far as AI goes, there's a lot of people being critical on AI, and I think AI is a no-win situation for any developer. It's just extremely difficult, and I would not want to be the person in charge of that. That being said, I'm satisfied with the AI of what I've seen so far. Now, number one, again, we were told that the release of the demo was the AI were dumbed down a little bit because press was receiving this. A bunch of press outlets were going to be receiving this, and they're not necessarily Mechwarrior fans or have ever stepped in, played a mech before ever. So they needed these press people to be able to have a good experience so that they could, review the game and have fun with it or whatever. So I'll talk about AI next week.
No,
but
think
I'm
that's
satisfied
fair.
with it. I've seen, my friendly AI torso twisting.
I got headshot yesterday.
Yeah, I mean,
I got killed because of PPCs.
Is it perfect? No, but it's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be bitching about, oh, well, this AI did this, and I would have done that, so therefore the AI is shit. I don't agree with that. I think the AI is totally fine, but I'm going to wait till release to have more judgments on it.
And even from just what we've seen so far, is there is a big difference between a green pilot and a veteran pilot.
Absolutely.
That veteran pilot,
huge difference.
It may not be like in a one-on-one, you still might be better than it. But I'll tell you what, man, there's certain mechs like Shadowhawk was kiting. He was a veteran pilot. He was kiting us at range. I got headshot yesterday with dual peeps by a Marauder. I was there and then I wasn't.
That's a good point. Somebody brought up, do we work for PGI? Yes, we are contracted by PGI, so obviously we're biased. But on the other hand, so take everything we say obviously with a grain of salt, and watch other people's streams, watch other people's YouTube videos, make your own judgment calls, play it yourself, whatever. But on the other hand, just so you know, I've been playing BattleTech and Mechwarrior for 35 years. This year was the 35th anniversary of BattleTech. I bought Battle Droids in 1984 before it was even turned into BattleTech. I played every single video game iteration that's been out, and I've played BattleTech and Mechwarrior my entire life. So I'm about as much of a fan as anybody can be. And Phil is the same way. He's just younger, so he started a little bit later. But we are absolute fans of the franchise.
And even if you talk about comparable AI. The comparable, in our opinion, would be other titles. Well, sometimes that's unfair. Two, if you compare them to the previous Mechwarrior titles, I sometimes think people haven't went and played some of those games in a while.
Somebody just said Mechwarrior 2 was perfect in their mind. And dude, I don't want to ruin
anybody's... At the time, it was great.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin anybody's memories of past titles, because I have them too. I love them, but if you go back and play Mechwarrior 2, you're going to see.
But there wasn't anything crazy dynamic about the AI, and
they certainly weren't torso twisting.
Yeah, no, and the difference though, and that's where I remember, I forgot who or what I was listening to, and they were like, it's not hard to make a very difficult AI. It's hard to make a realistic and an AI
you can just make it so the AI just headshots you every time.
Yeah,
that
behaves
realistically.
And so. Like those were things that I was talking about. As a modder, I'm going to be looking at introducing smoke grenade, launchers, because from like, if you're a light mech or a medium or even assault, or if you tank or whatever, like as soon as you're engaged, unless there's cover around, sometimes there's not as much dynamic ability to like poof and reposition, right? Or now you can imagine that first assassinate, as soon as you crest over the ridge and those tanks start popping smoke and things start moving around, you can't see it, they can't see, like stuff like that. To me, popping a UAV, I still think UAVs would be great to have, little things like that. I guess what I'm saying is AI, you're wanting something that the perception of your mind is you can be better to some extent. Like you can train to be better than the AI, but you want AI to at least respond to you in a realistic manner. Like if it's
when you say attack my target, you don't want it to go off in a corner and walk into a wall for 10 minutes.
If it's a green Mechwarrior, but it's in an assault, to me, it would be one of those, well, why would you ever have a green pilot in an assault mech?
But you have money to burn.
Yeah, it's like there's been a few times where there's been a green or recruit pilot that like runs straight at you and then you blow to bits. It's like, well,
I'll give you a reason. It's happening right now in my BattleTech campaign. The reason why you'd put a green pilot into a bigger mech, once you get a lance that's like, for example, my current lance in BattleTech where I'm at, it's all heavies, and I get a new pilot, I need to train him. I'm not going to put him in a freaking commando when I'm doing these missions. I need to complete the mission. So I put him in the best mech that he can get. And, so there's a green pilot and a good mech. But
Someone said because Steiner has, yep, a lot of money. Yeah.
Fuck you, money. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to, and I think our initial impressions and everything. I'm happy with the foundation. I'm looking forward to, from a modder's perspective. I'm also looking forward to what the release is and what alterations. It's good to hear about the UI. But I think honestly, the as far as like MechLab UI and stuff like that, we don't know what's going to be customizable. I'm assuming all of it. But here's the kicker. I feel like there's a lot of people that think they know what they're talking about, but the reality of it is like every single time you click a button and something changes in any of those UI, like the flow of it, the aesthetics of it, all that. And I feel like that's what sometimes people forget. And there's so much freaking information in the mech labs that it's like you have to design something to where it's easily readable and that a new player coming in isn't overwhelmed. Because MWO, like I said, even though I think the mech lab in MWO is good, it's so much information. You click mech lab and it pops open. Jesus, like what? Yeah. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know what heat sinks or Indo or Pharaoh or Standard or Artemis is or any of that, like it's just like, you know, like, so, but yeah. All right.
Those are our initial impressions of the demo. We'll obviously be back next Wednesday with our initial impressions of the release. God, I can't believe I'm saying that. But let's move on to these next few links. Phil, while you're talking about them, I'll drop them in chat.
Yeah. So we had a few videos come out. We had the walkthrough video. This was sort of a narrated, this is, you know, what you're going to be doing in Mech 5. You've got a mech, you're going to have missions. Overall, I thought it was actually really well done. Some people didn't like the dude's voice, and I thought it was perfectly fine. I liked it. It explained, and that's the thing is like, again, these videos, especially that walkthrough video, is meant for players that may not have the knowledge that if you're an MWO player, or it's of a player that hasn't played since Mechwarrior 4. Because how many times, like we were always saying, well, you know, PGI should market and get more people in. But the thing with marketing is it's a fickle thing. But two is, even with marketing, for just people miss things. There are people that find our videos or Bear Duels or someone on YouTube and they're like, holy shit, I didn't know about MWO. Oh my God, what is this? Battletech by HBS? Oh my God, what is this? You know, new Catalyst stuff? It happens all the time. So anyways, that video is for that. We also had the scenario instant action video. That one actually came out next. And this was actually really cool. This came out when the demo did. And it showcased what a custom scenario looks like. Right now, we've got the 5 just fixed ones. But the custom scenarios, you're going to be able to do assassinate. You're going to be able to pick the biome. You're going to be able to pick the difficulty. You're going to be able to pick, you know, what time of day and stuff like that. That's all there. And I'm actually really excited for the ones that we have in the demo right now are fixed. Whereas if you do assassinate, it's going to be a different map every single time. So there's that. The third video we got was the intro cinematic video. Now, this is the cinematic to the game when you launch the game, I'm assuming, or
it's just a brief history so that people kind of, you know, wrap their heads around what's leading up to their experience in this game and what BattleTech and Mechwarrior is about.
So when you launch the game, this is it. Unless there's going to be another video of like when the game launches. I'm not sure yet. But the intro video, it had good information. I'm not going to lie. I wanted mech action. I was, you know, especially when you look at like from 2 to 3 to Mech Commander and stuff, you had like all these like Mechwarrior 3 intro, right? The scene of the summoner and the Timberwolf coming up and then the inner sphere forces hiding in the, you know, the urban environment. Like to me, I wanted that.
There's been some pretty epic and classic intro cinematics in the past.
Yeah. So I'm not, you know, again, I don't know if there's going to be another video. Maybe there's another video. Maybe the intro video is just like an intro to Mechwarrior 5 and it's not the actual intro like when you open up the client. Maybe there's another one. I'm not sure. All I know is it's very much like, hey, this is the inner sphere and this is what you're doing. So I was a little let down by that, if I'm just honest. Not because like I didn't think it was a bad video. I think it's good information for someone that just doesn't know anything about BattleTech or Mechwarrior. But just from a hype standpoint, I was like, at here, like, oh my God, we're gonna see the next thing, but that's not what we got. So yeah. Daeron, you've got something pretty cool that this is your baby, so I'm just go.
Yep, but we are going to be participating. I am excited to announce, and this is the first time that I'm announcing it anywhere. This is a challenge. There's been a lot of challenges going out between the streamers and people playing the demos, reducing your tonnage and seeing if you could run various missions with just one mech or a light lance or whatever. We're going to issue our own challenge. And we're calling this the NoGutsNoGalaxy Mechwarrior 5 Beta Warzone Challenge. This goes out to all streamers, and I'll tell you why it's streamers only. And so right now, we're calling you all out. All of you streamers out there that have access to the demo, to the beta demo, this is for you guys. Basically, and people have been doing the Warzone Challenge. That's nothing new, because it's really the only challenge that you can kind of quantify in terms of how many C-bills you can bonus C-bills you can muster and how many you can get. So here are the rules to the NGNG Mechwarrior 5 Beta Warzone Challenge, going out to all of you streamers. Number one, you get a lance together. It can be, or whatever. If you want to take care of it solo, you can do it solo. I don't think you're going to be as fruitful, though. Get a lance together. It can be AI. It can be other streamers or players or whatever. It doesn't matter. You can have up to 4 people. And just like everybody else doing the Warzone Challenge, the goal is to get the highest C-bill payout. Your run that you submit as your chance must be live on stream. And this is very important. There can be absolutely no file modification. Doesn't mean you have to run stock mechs, but no file modification. No mechs with 6 Gauss, no mechs with unlimited armor, whatever people are figuring out how to do with file modifications. There can be no file modification. You send your clip of your best match, which means your highest payout, to me at bombadil@nogutsnogalaxy.net with Warzone and your C-bill amount in the subject line, so we can confirm basically both your C-bill amount and the fact that you didn't exploit the match at all. And the winner will get a pair of NGNG mugs and an MWO Ultimate Mech Pack of the winner's choice to give away to their viewers if they stream MWO. So it will be a pair of his or her mugs, his and his, her and her, whatever. 2 mugs will be shipped to you anywhere in the world. So even if you're in Europe, whatever, that's totally fine. And yeah, that's going to end on Monday. So we're going to select the winner on Monday. So that's the day before release. That means that you have to get your entries to me at, again, bombadil@nogutsnogalaxy.net by Sunday evening. And we're going to pick, Phil and I are going to look through and pick those on Monday. So that challenge is going out right now. I'm going to tweet it out after the podcast, so there will be more information. But we're totally looking forward to what we can see. I know I've seen like Bob and his crew got like 2.43 million C-bills. I heard somebody else got 4 million C-bills. I don't know if that's true, but we're excited to see what can be done with this. I know streamers all have their schedules, and that's why I tried to make it for as long as possible, some of the week and some of the weekend. And let's see what happens. We hope to see you guys all participating in the NGNG Mechwarrior 5 Beta Warzone Challenge, and the info will be out after the podcast.
Yeah. So good luck to everyone out there.
Absolutely.
Someone says, I suck. Can I just buy a mug? Well, me and Daeron can definitely talk about it. We actually have quite a bit of extra mugs. So if you're interested, I've got the All Systems Nominal mugs as well. If someone wants to, our store is different than what we used to have. So if you're interested in one of those, feel free to ping me on Discord, and we can work out the details. It'll be like $10 for the mug and then shipping. So
yep.
Just let us know. So if you live in the U.S., continental U.S., it'll be like $20 total around there. So that shouldn't be an issue. And we've got quite a few of them. I've got all those right there. And then I've got a whole another thing full too. So, all right. So we've got the Mechwarrior 5 launch party and Piranha Games 20-year anniversary party that you're going to. And
yeah, so I
can
just
we
found
officially
out.
say that? No.
Yeah, I just found out I am going. Piranha Games is bringing me up there. So This is both the Mechwarrior 5 launch party and, congratulations, PGI, 20-year anniversary party. That's a huge deal for developers these days. I've seen, just in our time being a part of Mechwarrior, we've seen developers come and go. And so it's a tough world out there for developers. It's getting harder and harder with, 5,000-6,000 video games coming out a year. So that's awesome. 20 years, their anniversary party. So I will be up there. That's December 20th. It's at the Vancouver Convention Center, the same place we had MechCon last year. And I'll be staying at the Pinnacle Hotel. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a fully catered dinner. We know how those go. Russ loves good food and an open bar. Look out. I'm not going to be performing in any way. I'm not going to be hosting or emceeing.
So. Oh, geez. So rum and coke, people. Trouble. Just remember, Daeron likes rum and coke.
You'll be able to play Mechwarrior 5 there. There's going to be the Catalyst Game Lab demo team. Shimmering Sword, the artist for Catalyst, is going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to be there. So I look forward to seeing you. Yeah, I think you can still get tickets. I know that they increased the amount of tickets because the original number that they are providing sold out, so they increased it by 50 or something like that. I talked to PGI yesterday. There's a lot of people going, so it's going to be a big party. Very much looking forward to it.
All right, so with Battletech by HBS, nothing really new. We started a playthrough that I plan on. I need to pick a day of that. I don't know, maybe Thursdays? Maybe Thursdays we do that. I don't know. I have to pick a day to where we could just have that every single week. Obviously, with Mech 5 coming out, it's like, anyways,
all right.
As soon as we know more, obviously,
I've been playing the crap out of it, like I said.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm still trying to get my Alpha Lance. I don't have it yet.
Yeah, the changes that they made, I like the filters that they've done. And for those that don't know, like each planet is unique. Like you still have mech parts at different planets, but now like if you want SRMs or missiles, you go to this planet. If you want ECM or that type of BAP equipment, you go to this planet and you can filter and you can see it. And the map is expanded from that as well. Of course, we got Battletech by Catalyst Game Labs and their Kickstarter. A little bit of an update for those that have been following along, be getting your emails. We had the Clan Command Star Omnimex 3D prints, and those were done. So you actually can see the images, and that's the Direwolf, Summoner, Stormcrow, Shadowcat, and Mistlinks. Also, last week, we also got the Clan Invasion box set. That's the mechs that come with all the box sets, and that's the Executioner, Timberwolf, Nova, Mongrel, and Adder. And I do like the Timberwolf in it. It goes back to sort of the more sleeker leg design, a little bit sleeker body design, just a little bit more of a, I feel like a predatory. I'm very critical when it comes to my clan mechs. All right, so that's my right, and I
understand, dude.
It,
hell yeah.
I've always dug that sort of like. They've always looked menacing, like just so anyways, so there's that. I'm assuming they're going to be shipping out in 2020. I know that's what they've sort of said.
Oh dude, I cannot wait.
Yeah. Are you going to paint your minis? Or
Me paint them? Fuck no. Yes, I would have somebody do it.
Yeah.
There's no way. Number one, I don't have a steady hand. Never could have been a surgeon or anything like that. But I know some really good painters, and I'm going to get them done right.
Is that an age thing? Is that what happens?
No, I've had unsteady hands since I was a teenager.
You're not a surgeon. Understood.
I never will be a surgeon.
No. Butcher. Just,
Yeah, that was okay. The only problem was unsteady hands then is I cut myself a lot. But anyway, I want to see these things painted well and painted right, and I'm super excited about the minis. I'm excited about everything that we're getting from the Kickstarter, but the minis, minis have been hit or miss for many years, for decades, and when I with battle droids, it was just little cardboard things set in a little stand. These are the most beautiful minis we have ever seen.
Yeah, they are nice. I still feel like the trouble with tabletop is that you have to actually be there. But I feel like that's also one of the things that makes it sort of special too. Is like,
oh, absolutely.
Like, hey
dude.
Guys, take a few hours out of your week and spend it with your buddies and have some beers and
there's
blow
nothing
some
like
X
sitting
up.
around a table and playing tabletop games. I mean, it's a totally different experience, and it's worth the while.
Well, and the cool thing with BattleTech is there's rules for small engagements, and as you scale it up, there's actually rules to help that. Even with like Alpha Strike, and then there's like the big warfare and stuff. You can, whereas instead of like just one mech at a time, you can treat it like as a lance at a time.
And there's a lot of groups, like if you don't have anybody to play with, there's groups all over the place. And most of the time you're not aware that there may even be a group in your area that plays. You can go to Facebook and look that up. And, there's several groups in my area. So get involved if you can. It is a resurgence of the tabletop as well as all the video games. And again, it's a different experience and it's worthwhile in my opinion.
Gosh, it's so weird to be here right now because like in some instances it does feel sort of surreal because with again we've been playing, it's weird for me at least, and I'm maybe you feel the same way. We've been playing MWO for
8 years,
however long it's been, right? And like this is like been the first week where streaming, it's like, well, we're playing Mech 5 now. Like it's so weird.
It's a huge, I know it is, dude.
Like, do any of you guys out there feel that? I mean, it's not a bad thing because change is good. Like and it is what it is. Like,
well, it's just growth. And again, we're going to have the ability to play Mechwarrior 5. We're going to have the ability to play Mechwarrior 5 mods. We're going to have the ability to play Mechwarrior Online. We're going to have the ability to play BattleTech from Harebrained Schemes. We're going to have the ability to play Tabletop BattleTech from Catalyst Game Labs, as well as read all the new fiction. Again, another golden age of BattleTech and Mechwarrior.
That's what I forgot to talk about. Remember, I was reading Harry Potter. Yeah, I'm done with book 3. Yeah,
damn, dude, you're
yeah, actually, I finished
you're shooting through them.
No, I would have finished it.
Have you still
sooner.
not watched The Mandalorian then?
No.
Oh my god,
we don't have Disney yet. Yeah, I know.
God, I'm gonna send you $7 for Christmas.
Get Disney. Stop being a cheapskate, Phil. Jeez, it's $7. You freaking here. All right, so okay, we'll go back. So yes, I'm reading the Harry Potter series. I've watched all the movies before, but I'm reading them, and I just finished book 3, and I started watching it last night, but it was like getting late, and Danielle was trying to sleep, so I turned it off. So I still need to finish it. But there's definitely things in the movie, the third movie, that they totally cut the fuck out. And apparently that happens more with all the other movies because the books get so big. She handed me the 4th book, and it's like, it's a decent sized book. And I'm like, okay, there's going to be a lot of plot to this. So anyways, I'm enjoying it. It's something that's funny because, again, I've watched the movies before, but I had no context. Now I'm watching it. I'm like, I'm like, oh, look, it's the thing. And she's like laughing because she experienced it years ago. And then, I'm going to read Hobbit and then Lord of the Rings. And then we're going to get more Lord of the Rings stuff. That's going to happen. Fundraiser to get Phil Disney Plus. Oh my god!
I know, really, it fulfilled in 1 minute, the fundraiser.
Yeah. So
and also, I completely disagree with you, Penguin.
I like the third book.
Prisoner. Well, no, he's not saying the book. He's saying the movie. Oh. I think Prisoner of Azkaban was the best movie, in my opinion, and also the best book. As
Danielle
far as the
says
book,
her favorite's the 4th book.
Yeah, but as far as book to movie translation, I never like book to movie translations. I always like the books better. Always. There's never been a time in my entire life where I've liked a movie over a book that's written, not a book that's written because the movie came out, but if the movie is based on a book, I always like the books better. But that being said, I like the third movie.
I think I've mentioned this before. A BattleTech book that took me literally forever to read because I would start reading it, and again, this is when I was younger. Black Dragon. It's about a merc company that's like on Luthien and stuff. Or not to spoiler. Anyways, the first few chapters is just so blah. And then it turned out to be one of the best novels I read. So there's that. So anyways,
Vingam points out, he asked Blade Runner, and gosh dang it, I had to make an absolute statement, didn't I? So Blade Runner is based off of a book called Do Android Dream of Electric Sheep? The actual title Blade Runner came from another novel. It wasn't. Blade Runner has nothing to do with the original book. And I have to concede, while that was an excellent book, the movie was better. So
What's funny?
I was wrong.
Like, the movie, I would just watch a YouTube video. The Blade Runner movie cost $40 million to make, and it made $6 million in the box office.
Wait, what? Say that again?
Blade Runner, the original, cost $40 million to make and $6 million in return, but yet it's considered one of the, like, it's a classic. And it's because sometimes things have to grow on you, right? And I don't know. So,
well, there's a lot of movies that become kind of cult classics after the fact. They don't make a bunch of money in original box office run, but then they make a ton of money and fans over time. There's been tons of examples of that.
Okay. Well, I know I need to watch Mandalorian. Plus, I haven't even seen Captain Marvel yet. So
just so you know, because that number, I wasn't familiar with that number. The budget was 30 million. The box office was 32.9 million, according to Wikipedia. I don't know what's
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, yeah.
It's not what I heard earlier.
Yeah, I don't know what the reality is, but anyway, Blade Runner was definitely one of those movies where I preferred the movie over the book. Although, if you ever get a chance, read "Do Android Dream of Electric Sheep." It is a good book, and it's a quick read as well.
Okay, so I need
let's wrap this thing up though, man.
Okay,
it's been a long podcast.
What? You don't like talking to me? I'm just saying, like, it's been a cool week. Obviously, coming back from the holidays, the game is 6 days away. I mean, by this time next week, we're going to be playing. Just saying.
Yes, we are, dude. By this time next week, we're going to be talking about playing.
Are we going to have a podcast on Wednesday? I guess we have to.
Yeah, but we have to play the hell out of the game on Tuesday. So,
well, do we know when the game's going to come out? Do we know that?
No, I don't think so.
Bet you it's going to be around
10, 11 a.m. Pacific or something Pacific. Like that.
Which means,
oh my God, I can't believe we're this close.
All right, so this is one. I'm going to make a promise.
Yeah.
Are you ready? I'm dropping this on you. Live.
Oh boy. Wait.
Hold on. You're just going to have to deal with it. It'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll make sure I'm not going to have any plans that day. I'm going to make sure my run is done. My exercise is done.
Nice.
And
Nutty Rat took the day off work, and I know tons of other people are going to be doing that too.
Guys, I'm going to take the day off work as well. We're just going to.
You're going to take the day off work.
I'm going to do it just for you guys. Just to, I don't know what you're talking about. It's not a job.
Isn't that awesome, dude?
I'm not promising 24 hours. I'm not saying 24 hours because that shit's bananas.
I got really concerned you were about to give a number.
No.
Okay, good.
I know your health and you're old. I don't want to put you in that. Okay?
My heart can't handle 24 hours.
Remember what happened with that one game, 72 hours?
Yes.
What was that game?
Yeah.
I don't know. So.
All right, we're gonna.
Hold on. I gotta ask you this: are we gonna play the campaign together?
Oh, for sure, dude.
Like, so
yeah.
When it launches, I'm gonna be hosting. You're gonna be joining me,
and vice versa, man. When I host and stream, you can join me. That's the whole point, guys. Is that although when I'm joining Phil as one of his pilots, I won't be benefiting directly as in C-bills or mechs or whatever, but it'll be helping his campaign. And that's actually a big deal for somebody to bring you in to pilot their mechs. That's trusting you, because you could totally F up their mechs.
How many people were dropping dollars yesterday for me to shoot you in the knee? Let alone someone's going to be like,
but are you going to do that when it's your mech that I'm piloting?
Well, I know, but here's the kicker. I'm going to be like, doing this mission. All of a sudden, I'm going to get shot in the back because freaking Troublesome is going to be like, hey, here's 2,000 bits, Daeron.
Yeah,
what would you do for that, you dirty mech pilot? And you're going to be like, well, the price is right, Trouble. Like,
we'll see.
I don't know. Maybe I don't want to is sabotaging, because like that's what like HP not HPS, that's what the above guys did, right? Like you could screw someone, but then you could also help.
Yeah,
I don't know if that
I don't know that we're going to be doing that.
That sounds like someone would be like, hey Phil, I really like you, but
yeah,
I want to see you suffer. I don't know why I get that feeling. All right.
Anyways,
we're
guys,
definitely
going to be doing the campaign. We're going to be playing with each other. You can quote me on that, but it's going to be a good time.
Just want to say thank you again. Quick shout outs to everybody in chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for dropping bits. Troublesome. You're out of your freaking mind, sir. It is what it is. Then Third King, thank you for using your Prime sub here. Ranger as well, thank you for the bits. Speaking of which, guys, if you want to help support this podcast, support is brought to you by you, the viewer. Please consider supporting us in a variety of ways. You've already figured it out in a way. You can drop bits in chat. You can subscribe to our Twitch channel. It's up in the corner. Tier 1 through 3. Do what you can financially and to support. No pressure. Though tier 3s are pretty awesome. You can become one of our patrons as well. And of course, check out our store. Though I did mention the coffee mugs, we're talking about the black matte coffee mugs. These are not on our store. If you're listening to this and you would like one, again, it's the All Systems Nominal with the Centurion and then NGNG on the other side. Contact me on our Discord. Just send me a PM if you'd like or need our Discord information. Everything will be in the description below. And of course, the big one is if you're going to be shopping on Amazon, we've got an affiliate link. What is an affiliate link? It's where you guys click the link, go and do your normal shopping. You can bookmark and do whatever, and we get kickbacks when you buy stuff. It can be computer hardware, Harry Potter books, dog food, whatever, upgrades to your computer. If you're using Amazon, kicks back to us. We'd greatly appreciate it. And I'll have that link again in chat and, of course, down below in the description.
And of course, our mugs were specially made, specially constructed for coffee. They just make coffee taste better no matter what. But they do accept all liquids. So they're very useful mugs.
Like rum and Coke.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Be sure to check out our website at NoGutsNoGalaxy.net. Check us out on Twitch at NGNGTV. Check us out on YouTube at NoGutsNoGalaxy TV, Twitter at NoGutsNoGalaxy, Facebook at NoGutsNoGalaxy Podcast, SoundCloud at NoGutsNoGalaxy. And for all the latest and greatest in mech porn t-shirts and mugs, be sure to check us out at NoGutsNoGalaxyStore.com.
This was your local No Guts, No Galaxy Mechwarrior podcast signing off for tonight. This is Phil.
And this is Daeron.
Until next time, Mechwarriors. You're getting so good at that. Who said you can't teach a dog old dog new tricks or something like that?